You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Are you ready to learn the 3 secrets to launching a successful podcast? Hi, I'm Bill, a recent client of the Podcast Mogul. If you've been thinking about starting a podcast but aren't sure where to begin, he's got you covered. He is hosting a free webinar where he will share the 3 secrets that can help you launch, grow, and monetize your podcast without any fancy equipment or technical headaches. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot now and let him help get your podcast off the ground.
Right. So one of the things that we forget is that emotion is basically the chemical kitchen that's releasing chemicals in our mind. I mean, we can go into the various chemicals that are released and so forth in the mind, but the fact of the matter is that motivation is a certain chemical release.
Welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, Phil Better, your host with the most, and on this episode, we have Professor Biagio Sciacca, which I apologize, I have a really hard time pronouncing it. His name, as you hear in the episode, he pronounces it for us, but he is the mastermind of professional development. He really helps me, understand what is the best way to figure out your goals by just this meditation that he does. And the conversations we have, it's fantastic. And so I'm not going to, bore you with any more. I'm just going to say, I hope you enjoy the episode and let's listen in. Bill, welcome to the show. Can you just give us a quick little tell us about yourself?
Absolutely. Well, let me begin with my real name.
Okay.
It's not Bill, it's Biagio Sciacca. Just so you don't think you're pronouncing an appetizer on an Italian menu, I go by Bill.
Okay.
And I'm originally from the Northeast Pennsylvania area, the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre area, but now I live in this funky little surf town on the Gold Coast of Costa Rica on the northwestern side called Tamarinda. That's where I am right now.
I'm very jealous of you because right now we're recording and it's negative 4 degrees Celsius here in beautiful Montreal. And you told me it's 92 Fahrenheit there and I'd rather be there.
I think that's about 31, 32.
Yeah, it's about, about that. Your mid-20s to 30s Celsius it's gorgeous. I can see a bit outside and it looks beautiful just from the little sunlight I can see. Oh, look at that.
I don't know if you could, it's a little too sunny.
But no, that looks gorgeous. That's a gorgeous view. Lucky man. So how long have you been down in Costa Rica?
It'll be 3 years next week.
Oh, really?
I left Scranton in a blizzard.
Good time to leave. In the middle of a blizzard, you're like, I'm going to Costa Rica. Did you plan to move down there, or was it just like the business just took off enough that you were like, I'm going down to Costa Rica?
I've been wanting to get to Costa Rica since 1996, when I started researching different climates that don't have that white stuff on the ground. What do you call that?
I think it's called snow.
So Costa Rica, I hit it in 2007 for the first time. Love the vibe. Came down about a dozen times and decided this was the place to go. And what happened was about 4 years ago, I wrote a book called Provocative Leadership. And I'm the author of 5 books, 2 on goal setting, 3 on leadership. And most of them were small, quick reads. So I didn't want people to think I was kind of a flash in the can. So I decided to put my philosophy background and my literature background together. And I came up with Provocative Leadership, which is kind of a thicker book using different sources and quotes on leadership. As a matter of fact, I gave it to a couple CEOs to read, and they said, well, this is good stuff, but it's kind of complicated. Why don't you put it together in the form of a course?
Yeah.
So I did. I put a 3-day course together. I went back to these CEOs. I showed them the material, showed them what I was going to do, and said, Bill, this is great, but it's a 3-day course. This is like 10 pounds of bologna in a 5-pound skin. You got to spread this out. So I figured, you know what? Let me try this in Costa Rica. I put together a curriculum, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, classroom, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Get your butt out into the rainforest. I found businesses, organic coffee farms and different businesses that wanted to talk to us about how they actually came into business and how they're sustaining themselves. I found a resort that handles good-sized crowds to do training. It took me 2 years to get everything in place. Last January, I was ready to start. Guess what happened at the beginning of last year?
Oh, our good friend who's screwed up a lot of people, Mr. COVID.
Yes. So, I mean, it's funny that the gods were just not shining down on me. So I ended up having to spend last year trying to figure out how to, this, by the way, came at the reduction of about 85% of my revenue last year. And I'm living in a third world nation where there's no social safety net. I can't go to the unemployment office and say, hey, you got a couple bucks? So The end result was I had to figure out how to do online stuff. Now, I mean, you could see by the gray hairs that technology is not exactly my forte. As a matter of fact, I still own my 8-tracks. So the ability to figure out Zoom and Adobe Connect and so forth, I really thought that a lot of these platforms were called oh damn, because that's what I was saying most of the time. But you know what, though, I figured it out. I figured out how to record courses. I put courses out on Udemy. I'm doing what I can to figure things out. And now the face-to-faces are starting again. So put me in, coach. I'm ready.
Yeah, you're building even more credibility for your face-to-face when you start showing them, like, look, I have all these customers on Udemy, all these other virtual trainings I've done, the testimonials. So like when you go back to the CEOs, you can go, look, they've done it and it's even better now.
You know what? As Friedrich Nietzsche said, that which does not kill me makes me stronger.
Yeah, it's amazing that you were able to, like, you decided, I'm going to still do this. I'm going to take the lump, and how do I change it? You looked online and you found multiple different ways.
Absolutely. But just to put Friedrich Nietzsche's quote in perspective, he said that when he was half insane with syphilis. Just so we're clear.
Yeah. It did make him stronger for a bit, and then left us with that amazing quote. But what other challenges have you found for starting courses? Like, what were some of the struggles that you had when you wanted to bring your course into Udemy and that? Well,
trying to figure out the Udemy platform. They don't have phone support. Okay, I'm a phone guy. I don't like this chat and emails and this virtual stuff. I want to pick up the phone. I want to dial numbers. I want to say hello. That didn't happen. So it was a slow process. Now, the courses that I have on Udemy, by the end of next month, I'll have 6 courses up on Udemy. The first one is increasing self-confidence through public speaking, goal setting, an advanced goal setting course called Dynamics of Personal Leadership, 2 courses in interpersonal communication skills, and a time and stress management course. They're all 30 lessons long. Each lesson is 6 or 7 minutes. It's designed for maximum impact over a short burst of time for 1 month. Okay. But the problem was trying to upload 30 lessons. Udemy doesn't care if the lessons are 2 minutes or if they're 20 minutes. You have to upload every one individually. And I was just experiencing just tons of technical difficulty with it. But you know what, though? Little by little, you figure out each one individually. You don't plan for the issues or the errors. You just, when one hits you in the face, you solve it. You solve the problem. Then you keep going until you hit the next one. Then you solve that. I mean, that's what leadership's all about. That's what I teach. That's what I pontificate. I should practice it, right? Well, guess what? I did.
That's great. Like you're showing that no matter what your age, as you said, you have that gray hair. The tech is a little outside your wheelhouse, but you're like, it's not going to stop me from doing what I want to do. I'm going to take the reins and show other people in my age bracket that this is possible. This is not something that's outside your wheelhouse.
Absolutely. So, all in all, at this particular point right now, I was just before we had this call, I was on Camtasia doing some video editing. Go figure. So, yeah, little by little, we're figuring it out.
That's perfect. Like, because you're taking the time to invest in yourself in these new skills. Like, just like every single person who was hit by COVID had to change. There's people who went from being a pilot to a delivery guy to a construction worker. And that's what we're doing in this age. We have to figure out. And luckily, we have the internet to help us out, because if not, most of us would be struggling even harder.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the technology for last year was actually our friend.
Yeah. I wanted to get your some tips for personal goal setting, and that for some of our listeners who are jumping into becoming those digital entrepreneurs. What would be kind of like your top 3 tips on setting those personal goals to be able to succeed?
Well, goal setting is a very interesting process, and goals have to be set correctly. If they're not, there could be problems. Now, let me give you an example by what I mean by correctly. Sometimes we might set goals that are too low and they're not motivating, but we're doing that because of a psychological oddity called fear of failure, where we rationalize the best way not to fail. Don't try.
Yeah.
Okay. So we might set goals too low. Then there's another problem with setting goals too high. And that really is a problem. We might say, especially that American philosophy, strive, more, better, courage. But if we set a goal too high that we're not capable of hitting, what we're doing is we're programming ourselves for failure. And the end result is that we don't hit the goal, so we dismiss it. Then we set another goal. If we set it too high, we don't hit it, we dismiss it. Little by little, that's permeating our self-conscious and our subconscious mind. And our subconscious is saying, well, the way you succeed is through failure. So let's keep setting these gigantic goals that you can't succeed at so you can fail, and that way we'll succeed. And it's kind of reverse logic, but that's kind of the way the subconscious works also. So we have to be careful that the goals are, I like to call them Goldilocks goals. Not too soft, not too hard, not too cold, not too hot, just right. And if we do that, goals work.
Okay. And so it's obviously each individual has to figure out what's too hard. Like, I guess saying, I'm going to lose 100 pounds by the end of the year is like probably going to be setting yourself up to failure, because you need to set a more idealistic goals. Like, okay, for me, I wanted to lose 40 pounds by my birthday, which is in November. So I deconstructed it to, that's 10 months from now, 11 months. That's about 4 pounds a month I need to lose. So that gives me that big goal of, oh my God, I have to lose that 40, but it also makes it a little easier because it's like each month, as long as I lose 4 pounds, I'm going to work my way up to that big goal.
Absolutely. Well, what you've done is you've gone through a process in goal setting that I call functional decomposition. Okay. You've taken this big, gigantic goal, this macro goal, and you broke it down to its micro components. We behave on a micro basis. We don't behave on a macro basis. You don't lose 40 pounds. Matter of fact, if individuals in my classes come to me and say, I'm going to set a goal. I want to lose 40 pounds. Excellent. What's your time frame? Well, I want to try to lose it in 2 months. So really, what are you going to amputate? Because that's the bottom line. Now, what you've done is you've taken basically 40 weeks and you said, I'm going to lose a pound a week. Now, by calorie reduction, by calorie burn, in other words, watching what you eat and spending more time on your feet, you could probably do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. It's not that difficult to do. A pound a week is pretty easy. And that's what you've done. So you've given yourself that time. But you realize, though, every time you hit that milestone, every time you hit a 1 week goal or a 1 week time frame, and you take the pound off, you're submerging your subconscious in success.
Yeah.
your subconscious is saying, I want more of this because it's making you happy.
Yeah, it's feeding into a better cycle, because I did notice that last year and the previous years, it was like I would set that goal of losing that weight or starting my own business or whatever, but I wouldn't have anything there. I wouldn't have any structure around it. So it was just spinning a wheel and going around in a circle. I would never lose weight. I would gain weight. And pretty much started last 2019, the end of 2019, I was like, I'm done. I ballooned to about 300 pounds. And I wasn't happy with myself. I had in COVID hit, and I had a burnout in early 2020. And then by the end of 2020, I was down 60 pounds just by changing my mindset and just setting those mini goals. Just change one thing a day and just keep adding to it. And I found out that's the way it works for me. So
that's excellent. And, you make a very interesting point, changing your mindset. In many situations, if we want to change our outcome, we just have to change our mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right? One of the things that we forget is that emotion is basically the chemical kitchen that's releasing chemicals in our mind. I mean, we can go into the various chemicals that are released and so forth in the mind. But the fact of the matter is that motivation is a certain chemical release. The more that we're able to release those chemicals in a positive, proactive way, the more we're going to have that emotional feeling. In this case, motivation.
Yeah, and I've noticed that I've been trying to find ways to get more motivated to start hitting those more and more different goals. And I've been finding, like, because I grew up with video games, doing it somewhat like a Mario effect, where I do a short little bit, rest. I find that my goals are getting easier and easier to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And remember this, all motivation is self-motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Even the decision to do nothing is a decision based on self-motivation. You cannot motivate anybody to do anything. Now, of course, behavior or lack of behavior has consequences, but it's self-motivation. The point is this, though. You can alter that motivation through your attitude, because positive attitude is another emotion that allows that chef in our mind to start mixing those chemicals up and releasing them into our body.
Yeah. And you're going to be more open and look for those chances to have those positive experiences, to have those great moments. Because if you weren't, pardon me, you would be looking for the negative, and you would only see that negative. You would start going down the negative mindset that these things don't work, goal setting doesn't work, and then you don't get anywhere.
Absolutely. And the thing is, though, you can call motivation into top of mind if you choose to. I'll give you an example.
Please do.
You're doing something that you don't enjoy doing. Okay? Maybe it's paperwork, maybe it's something. Set a goal. When you're done, you're going to do something you like, and then concentrate on getting that project done. Now you think about it. How long do you do something that you don't like? Like, for example, if I have some paperwork here, I might have to spend 20 minutes on the paperwork. Now, I can hem and haw and shuffle papers around and not get it done. Or I could say, I am going to concentrate for 20 minutes and get this paperwork done to the best of my ability, and then I am hitting that pool.
Yeah, that's perfectly it. It's you have to reward. In essence, it's Pavlovian theory that you're getting yes, the reaction gets the positive
stimulus response.
Yeah, the positive response. So yeah, it's really that. And so we're just trying to you just learn how to do that to yourself.
Yeah,
to get yourself motivated. Okay,
absolutely. Let me give you another tip too. Because one of the most important things that we as individuals can do is be in a personal development program. And I talk about this in my sales training. I talk about this in my leadership training. I talk about this in customer service training. Every day you get up, you're putting on your suit of armor. And your suit of armor is there to protect you from the jousting that's going to occur. All those people out there that you interface with, they have a lance. right? And you have a lance, and that's what happens during the day. We communicate, we joust with each other. You better make darn sure that that lance doesn't pierce your armor, because if it does, you're going to be hurt. Question is, how do you get your armor thicker? You know, the knights of the Middle Ages, they had different suits of armor depending on how much they could bear, how much weight. Obviously, the more weight you could bear, the safer you are. Well, here's how we can build our personal suit of armor. Get into a program of developing yourself and do it every day. Again, I'll give you an example.
Please.
I wake up between 3:30 and 4 every morning.
Okay.
And the first thing I do, well, the second thing I do, the first thing I do is I dump a gallon of coffee in me. But I start the process. I start the process of an hour and a half to 2 hours of personal development. Now, this is my profession, so I have to do this, but I have all day to do it. This is my time. I start with guided meditations. I've been meditating since I was 19 years old. A Catholic priest at the university that I went to, it was a Catholic school in Pennsylvania. He was doing research between Eastern and Western religion, and he taught me how to meditate. I've been doing it off and on for decades now. But over the last 3 years being in Costa Rica, I started it on a consistent basis, and I spend at least 20 minutes in solid guided meditation. I make sure it's not just sitting around thinking about whatever. It's real meditation. How do you meditate? Go online. There's places that you can find how to meditate.
Yeah.
After that, I do yoga. All right, which is just a physical form of meditation. Okay. Now, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for doing yoga. I mean, you kind of get a little tighter by doing yoga. And I really like that.
I was doing yoga before COVID lockdown happened, and I was enjoying it, and I'm slowly getting back into it this year.
Yeah, and it is certainly worthwhile doing. But that's another part of what I do every morning. And then I read. I've got all my metaphysics books over there on the side there, and I read the old. When you look back at personal development, right now we're kind of in fourth generation personal development gurus like the Anthony Robbins and things to that effect. Mm-hmm. But if you go back a generation, you're going to find the Dennis Waitleys and the Brian Tracy's. But before that, you had the Earl Nightingales and you had the Dale Carnegies. Mm-hmm. That's where a lot of people stop. But before that, at the beginning of New Age thought, you have people like William Walker Atkinson. You probably never heard of him.
No, I haven't.
Thomas Thoreau. You probably never heard of him.
Thomas Thoreau, I have. Okay. I know, if I'm not mistaken, he was a poet and a writer.
No, he was a judge.
Oh, a judge. Okay. Then
the judge. Florence Scovel Shinn is another one. You probably never heard of her. Wallace Wattles, you probably never heard of him. These are people that were doing their best writing 100 to 110 years ago. But they were the ones that took metaphysical philosophy and started to apply it to New Age. They're the ones that the Dale Carnegies and the other second generation individuals who wrote Think and Grow Rich.
Hold on, just Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill, yeah, people like that. They took the work of those first generations and built on it. Then you had the Brian Tracy's and et cetera, take the work of the second generations, build on that. Now you have the fourth generation. If you go back to the originals, you're going to find some very interesting things. I've actually mapped out about a dozen Anthony Robbins quotes that are from William Walker Atkinson, except William Walker Atkinson wrote them in 1906. Okay, so if you go back far enough, you can actually find the root of a lot of it. That's something else I do during the morning. It's a great way to really challenge your mind After you're all nice and loose and your mind's open from the yoga and from the meditation, this is a great way to challenge your mind. This is not easy reading. Well, Florence Scovel is pretty easy. But aside from her, the rest of it is really metaphysical reading. It's a branch of philosophy. After I do that, I grab another cup of coffee and I go outside and I just try to commune with nature for a little bit. Just listen to the birds and sometimes the howler monkeys and so forth. And that's a good 2-hour chunk of my morning. Well, I got to tell you, man, by the time 6 o'clock hits, I'm ready for bed. It's like, I got to start doing something. Let's get rocking and rolling here. I'm ready for action.
I can only imagine. Like, that just sounds like the perfect way to wake up and get ready for the day, because you've gotten everything out, you've gotten everything nice and limber, and then you're ready to run while everybody else is still, trying to get into that mode. You're already past them and ready and running.
Absolutely. And that's how that armor gets thicker. That's how the armor gets thicker, is by going through that on a consistent basis, on a daily basis, but at least a consistent basis, and it doesn't have to be 2 hours. Tony Robbins said it well. He said, every morning you should have an hour of power. You don't have an hour? No problem. Make it 30 minutes to thrive. You don't have 30 minutes? No problem. Make it 15 minutes to fulfillment. He was always big on alliteration, but it's okay. But it's okay. It made sense.
Yeah.
And the point is this: just get something done.
Yeah, just start. Just do one thing.
Yeah. What I tell a lot of my clients is this: depending on what class they're in. Like, for example, if it's a sales class, I might have some individuals that are poor prospectors, other individuals that are not very good communicators, other individuals that might not be good closers. Find out what you're not good at. Then Google that, or don't Google it. Go to YouTube. YouTube's one of the gigantic searches.
Oh, yeah.
I think the last statistic I heard was that 24 hours of material gets downloaded every 60 seconds.
Something like that. Yeah. It's like this. It's the second largest search engine next to Google.
Yes. Yeah. And it really, truly is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not good at prospecting. Type in sales prospecting. See what you come up with on YouTube, and then watch them.
Oh, yeah.
That's part of a personal development plan.
That's how I got better at recording podcasts with virtual guests, because I was like, okay, my last podcast was in person. So it was me and my guest, or me and my co-host in person. And then COVID hit. I'm like, okay, how do I do this? And everybody was like, okay, you can do Zoom, you can do Streamlabs, you have a whole bunch of other options. I took the time by going to YouTube to figure out what's the best way to streamline having guests on a podcast.
Absolutely. And that's what a lot of your audience grew up with technology.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't remember what it was like before that. I got to tell you, when I started my sales career back in the 80s, if I wanted to get better at sales, I had to go to a bookstore and spend an hour and a half looking through books to take home and then read a chapter a morning. That's the way it was. And if I bought a dud, which happens, I have to go back and buy another book. There were no computers. I mean, this is 1985 BC, before computers. So the end result was that's what had to happen. And it's like that with everything now. You take a look at my guitar. I have all my guitar. I've been playing guitar for 45 years. I still suck, but I've been playing for 45 years. All my guitar books are over there. I could go on YouTube. I can go on Guitar Tabs right now and find anything that I want. Anything.
Yeah. I
can find picking exercises. I could find ways of connecting pentatonic scales. It's amazing, and it's all there for you. You can take lessons online.
And what's so great about it is you can find a teacher that suits your style. Before because it was so limited in the people who could get published for books, because only the big names, and how do you get a big name? Well, you have to get published, or you have to land that big deal with one of the major Fortune 500s. Now it became a little easier for people to write books, thanks to Amazon showing you e-Kindles and that. But it's still, getting a physical book is still something, big accomplishment. But now with YouTube, you can find the exact teacher you want, because you can watch like 5-10 minutes and be like, nope, this guy's not really doing it for me. Find someone else.
Yeah, that's interesting, and that's exactly what you do too. You take it as far as you want. Maybe you skip ahead a little bit, and if it's not working for you, you go to somebody else.
Yeah, because I want to learn how to do some Facebook ads, because for the podcast, because we're recording for second season, and for the second season, I want to start using a bit of Facebook ads, because I see what it's doing for businesses. So why not use it for my podcast, And so I'm watching videos on how to use Facebook ads and jumping around, seeing which guy or girl or whoever's hosting is the best style, because it's a very complex but very simple system to use. It's like once you get in, it's simple, but learning everything, that's where it gets really technical, and that's where a lot of people have problems.
You're right, but the important point here though is that the modality, you have the ability to learn it because it's right in front of your face. 30 years ago, that wasn't the case. 30 years ago, you had to spend twice the time. The first half of the time was trying to figure out where to find the information. And once you found it, you had to learn it.
Yeah, and now you get to bring everything down. Like you said, modality, it brings it all together. It's easier for people to learn, better to upgrade their skills and invest in themselves.
Invest in yourself, absolutely. Yeah.
And I love how you're daily investing in yourself with your morning routine, with the yoga, the meditation, and then reading the metaphysic books, but then also communing with nature, like going back and just accepting what the world is giving you on this day. Because obviously going out here in the middle of the morning would be very cold, but for you, you get that niceness, you get the howler monkeys, which must be an interesting sound in the morning.
The howler monkeys are kind of scary. Yeah, especially when they're really like upset with each other and having fights. Yeah. But you know what? It's all good. It's all good. And then I'm about 10 minutes away from a dozen beaches. So I hit the beach quite often, a couple times a week at least, depending on the tides.
You really are living a great life. Like, did you manifest this life? You're like, well, you did, because you first visited early in the you said the 90s, the first time you went to Costa Rica, right?
I started researching places in the late 90s, but I didn't get to Costa Rica until 2007. But I was to Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Thailand a lot for business, and I checked out Thailand and other places, Jamaica, but Costa Rica hit us.
Yeah, it has that nice vibe that just gels with you so well.
Yeah,
because you seem so laid back. Like, you look so relaxed, and I want to know if it's Costa Rica or just simply that you found your life passion and you're living that.
I'm very content, and that's what it is. But I'll tell you what, I was not always laid back. When I was in the United States, if you saw me 20 years ago, I've been told if my sphincter was any tighter, I would implode. So I mean, it was I was a rock and roll Reaganite, those 80s rock and roll Reagan years. Yeah. That's when I grew up. That's when I was cutting my teeth. Bam, 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 bam. Never stop. Keep going. Now it's all good.
It's all good. I love that. I also like how you switch. You went from like you said, the hardcore 80s Reaganite to just it's chill. Life is good. I can relax. And things will come when they come, and you're manifesting, and it's amazing to see. One of the things, like, I've been talking to a lot of people around my age and my generation, so I unfortunately haven't had people like in your generation, my father's generation, on the podcast who have become digital entrepreneurs. So it's really great to show like someone like yourself who has gone in their generation to a digital entrepreneur.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. And you know what, again, everybody does what they have to do. That's it. I've talked to some of my colleagues that are my age, and they opted to retire. That whatever you want to do.
Whatever makes you happy. That's the big goal in life, is just to be happy.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you, because this is a thank you for being on. I'm going to give you the last 5 minutes. I want you to pitch whatever you want to pitch, sell whatever you want to sell. And it's pretty much just all you, sir.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let me begin by showing you an equation that I came up with.
H equals N1 minus T.
Yes. This is a mantra that I live by. I want to share this with your people. And here's what it means. Happiness equals not one negative thought. Not one negative. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, stop it. Just stop it. You do not have the luxury of having one negative thought. That person that pulled out in front of you on the highway, they got you mad, stop it. All right. There's a problem at the checkout line at the grocery store and it's taking a lot longer and you're upset. Stop it. Not one negative thought. You want to know why I'm so laid back? That's the equation. That's what does it. And that causes me to be happy. I absolutely refuse to have a negative thought enter into my mind and stay there. Look at, you know what happened. We have 65 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 85% of those thoughts are the same thoughts we had yesterday. But the end result is that when a negative thought enters my mind, I allow it. It's there, so I have to allow it. But then I gently escort it out. And I don't think about it anymore. And it's a cognitive effort. It's a conscious effort, not one negative thought. If that's one thing I would love to leave with your audience. Happiness equals not one negative thought. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes so much sense. Oh my God. That is more value than I could ever have thanked for.
Well, I appreciate that. Look, folks, if you like what you're hearing, go to my YouTube channel. It's called The 5-Minute Motivator. The 5-Minute Motivator on YouTube. I can't say I record every single day, but I record most days. You'll see a lot over the last 2 months, especially. So as long as the voices in my head keep talking to me, I'll keep talking to you. And so that's certainly one thing you could do, and we could stay in touch that way.
Oh, you got a brand new subscriber. I can guarantee you that. I'm gonna definitely go subscribe and make sure I hear it every morning. That's gonna be part of my morning routine now. Wake up, listen to one of your videos every morning, and we'll see where I am in 30 days and how amazing it is.
And they're only 5 minutes.
And 5 minutes. I can give myself wake up 5 minutes early to listen to a 5-minute video. That's an investment I can do before I have to go into my day-to-day job. I think I can do that. 5 minutes early, I can do that. That's not 2 to 3 hours earlier like you do, but it's a little bit what I'm doing to invest in myself for now.
Excellent. That's wonderful.
Bill, go ahead.
No,
sorry.
No, I'm fine. Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to just say I want to thank you very much for being a guest on the episode. It was a pleasure. You gave more value than I could ever ask for in this episode with your wisdom of years and decades of experience in being a leader and salesperson and just creating the best life for you when you showing that you can, no matter what, transition from the old school way of life to the digital life, and it doesn't take something hard to stop you like courses online, because you show that even if it comes up, you can power through it because you can learn.
Absolutely. It has been an absolute pleasure, Phil. You know what? I feel blessed that I met you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank again Bill for being on, myself. Invest in yourself, and please listen to a few short minutes after the podcast. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.
I had so much fun talking with Bill on everything, and if you didn't get that from the episode, re-listen because my excitement is palpable. And I've been starting to take my days like he has suggested, sitting, motivate, doing a bit of mindful meditation more, and listening to some motivation, encouragement from his channel. So it is amazing what it's done for me. And with that being said, guys, I have great news. I finished the book. It's already been sent to Lloyd. If you don't know who Lloyd is, you'll hear him later on. He's reading it. He loves it. I've sent it to other people to edit, to make it more better. So it's coming along, and I'm so excited for you guys to read. If you want to get a copy, send me an email at feelbetterinc.com, and I will send you the link once it goes live so that you guys can order it. Whether it's you're listening to this now as it's released or later on, send me an email, and I'll guarantee you you will get the link to the book. I thank you again for listening, and remember to invest in yourself.
Thanks for tuning in. Now it's time to take the next step. When you're ready to dive deeper into how to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast, Phil's got something special for you. Join him for a free webinar where he'll reveal the 3 secrets that have helped countless entrepreneurs succeed in podcasting. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot, and let's turn your podcasting dreams into reality.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.